Okay, so let's get started. I'm excited to see many of you in this session. So this session is about introducing SBA faculty research interest and their activities so that undergraduate students can understand our faculty members better, and also explain and describe the opportunities about SBA graduate school, so you can apply for SBA graduate school as a career option if you are about to graduate. So 오늘 세션은 교수님들 전체적으로 연구에 대해서 소개를 해드리고 그래서 여러분들이 교수님들의 어떤 일을 하는지, 연구가 굉장히 중요한 그 교수님들의 활동 중에 하나인데 어떤 일들을 하는지 여러분들에게 소개하고, 그다음에 대학원 진학에 대해서도 인포메이션을 드리는 그런 목적으로 오늘 만들어졌습니다. 다들 반갑습니다. Then we'll start with our school dean, Professor Chai's greeting and introduction about SBA Graduate Program, and followed by each faculty member's presentation about their research activities. Okay, so shall we start with our dean?
Hello. Hi, everyone. It's very nice to meet you all in this online space. As Professor Kim mentioned, this meeting is to introduce our SBA faculty members' research and some information about graduate program admission for this coming fall semester. Okay, so now on, I think SBA is focusing more on graduate program education. So we're gonna put more effort and our attention to improve graduate programs over coming years. So this is just the beginning, and I see that many of our faculty members, also our many SBA and other schools students turn out today for this event, which indicate, I think, their strong interest both from our faculty and students on graduate programs and education too. So let me briefly explain some basic information about our faculty and graduate programs, and then each faculty members will explain briefly about their research agenda. And this session will be end with this Q&A in the end. Okay, let's start. So yeah, purpose of this session is to introduce our SBA faculty members' research areas and some research opportunities for undergraduate students and also for graduate students, and some more information about graduate program admission. Okay, so this presentation will be organized as follows, as you can see in the PPT. So about 15 faculty members will participate today's presentation, and in the end there will be some Q&A session too. Okay, so basics about SBA graduate programs. Tuition fee, for our general graduate program, tuition is free. Okay, so I don't know about the exact cost. It's about 768 만원. I think so you're more interested in stipend. SBA stipend is different from engineering schools, so we are very restricted, constrained in terms of funding, because in management areas, projects are small, so we cannot provide enough stipend for our students. But details are as follows. Master level, we provide per month 24만 원. And for doctoral level, which means combined, including combined, about 39.5만 원, over 40만 원 per month. There would be some, extra funding opportunities in terms of RA, TA, depending on each faculty member's project. I know some of our faculty members have, a long-term project from the research foundation, like SSK or some joint project with engineering professors and so on and so forth. So for details about extra funding, it would be better you contact each faculty member. And also we provide 대학원생 전용 기숙사, dorm residence for graduate students. And also we are eligible for military service exemption. So the total number of this exemption is restricted nowadays for the whole institution. So we are also subject to the condition, but we are eligible for this military service exemption. You can also, if you have some more detailed questions, you can bring that question to the Q&A session. Okay. Next, SBA graduate programs, master program. The total credit required for master program is 28 credits. Among these, course credit is 24, and research credit is only 4 credits. Yeah, and doctoral and the combined program, the total credit required is 60. Of those 60 credits, for doctoral program, 24 credits are course-based. For combined, 36 credits are course credit, and the rest would be research credit. So for doctoral program, 36 credit would be the research credit. 24 credit would be assigned to combined master and doctoral programs. For more details about the curriculum, you can go to the SBA website, and you can find some more details. What I like to add to this is that we're gonna strengthen the curriculum of master and doctoral programs from the next semester. So you will have some more choices and more more foundation courses in each major of management, and including that includes more courses on research method, statistics, and so on and so forth. Okay. So you can find more information on graduate school admission from this UNIST website, and also our SBA website. This is some information about admission quota for the whole university institution. The total would be 553, master 168, combined 300, about 300 for doctoral 72. Currently, at this moment, there will be no quota for graduate students for each department or school. But sooner or later, there will be some, some allocation of this resource to each department and school. Okay. So if you are interested in graduate programs, I think later, maybe from next year or so, there will be some more competition. Okay, as you know, admission processes include, 서류평가 and interviews. Here is the admission schedule for this coming semester. It starts from October 6th till 15th of October. Okay, there's an online application period, and which includes some assessment schedules and announcement of successful candidates, which will be mid-December. Okay. This is some required document for application. You can easily find things. Okay, so for each faculty members' profiles and their research areas, you can find more information from our SBA faculty member website. You can use the first one, and also I like to recommend the second link, which is research profiles organized by our Young-Choon, okay, research department. So you can provide some more details and recent information about each faculty member's research activities. Okay, we're gonna have a Q&A later on. Okay, so this is about our the introduction of SBA program and admission, information on admission. Now on each faculty member will introduce briefly, for only 5 minutes, briefly introduce his or her own research activities and some maybe recent development, recent projects, so on and so forth. Let me start with myself. Okay, let's see. Yeah. 이게 안 보이나요? Okay. Okay, can you see this, faculty research profile web page organized by Young-Choon? From this page, you can see, different department. If you click on this 경영과학부 or 전문대학원 경영과학부, then you can see some details about our faculty members' profiles. And if you click some, actually, I cannot find mine from this website. Okay, if you click Professor Kim, then you can find description about his research agenda, areas of interest, some future interest areas, current project and publications, so on and so forth. So this would be very useful information for you guys. Okay. Now let me briefly talk about myself. Can you see my research profile web page? 보이세요? Okay. So yeah, I'm interested in entrepreneurship and innovation strategy, which includes 4 areas. First is entrepreneurship research, including new startups, startup process, and startup management. Second area would be innovation strategy, including corporate governance and alliances and diversification, how these strategic decisions are related to innovation, which is my second interest. Third interest would be some recent development in technology areas. So I like to link fourth industrial innovation and its impact on management in general. And last but not least, the fourth area would be technological innovation phenomena, including disruptive innovation and translation of basic research into more development research, or new product development, regional innovation systems, so on and so forth. Okay, so these are my research areas. I know these are too broad to many research areas. Current project, which means some papers, ongoing papers include academic entrepreneurship and organizational behavior, learning from failure in venturing processes, and such behaviors in organizations, innovation ambidextrity, masculinity of entrepreneurs and their financing decisions, licensing, diversification and innovation in crisis, confirmation biases and risk perception. These are I think all of my current research projects. Okay, that's all. I think this is my brief introduction of my research. If you have some more information, need some more information, you can contact me anytime through email ylchoi@unist.ac.kr, or you can call me anytime. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dean Choi. Now we go to another faculty by faculty to present each faculty member's interest. If you have any question or comments, maybe you can leave it in the message in the chatting, and maybe around the end we can have a Q&A. Okay, so next presenter is Professor In Jun Hwan. Would you please start?
Yeah, thank you. I'm Jun-Han In, Assistant Professor of Supply Chain Management. First of all, thank you for this opportunity to share my research areas and research teaching areas. And before that, I would like to talk a little bit about what supply chain is or what supply chain management is, because some of you may not be familiar with this area. And basically, the supply chain is very simple. Okay? The set of organization, set of interconnected organization. So all supply chain members are somehow involved in upstream and downstream flows of products, finances, and information. And actually, this area is a very young discipline. So it's a little bit fragmented, and we have 4 different areas. So for example, logistics, operations, and purchasing, and some some scholars are more geared toward the marketing areas. Then my area is my research streams center around the interface between supply chain management and information systems. So I mainly try to investigate the strategic values of supply chain IT and also investigate the technology issues in a supply chain context, mainly in healthcare supply chains. Okay, so for example, what is the implications of use of RFID and EDI in US hospitals or enterprise architecture? Or what's the meaning of information integration in a healthcare context, something like that. And currently I'm working on a couple of research projects, for example, blockchain-enabled supply chain, or the performance implications of supply chain and information governance projects. And methodology-wise, I mainly doing empirical research, meaning I usually employ econometrics or regression or something like that, not analytical. Okay, so accordingly, my teaching area is more about supply chain management and operations management. So I taught supply chain IT, supply chain management, and some other operations management too. And basically these are my teaching areas. And this semester, I teach AI, digital transformation, and convergence in blockchain, and also principles of management. Okay. So it's very brief and very broad, and basically supply chain issues, all the company's issues, okay? So if you're interested in this area, contact me, okay? Always welcome. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Professor In. And the next, Professor Han, please.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Ho-Hien Han. I'm an assistant professor, as you can see from the slides. I'm an assistant professor in finance area, and my main research area includes behavioral finance. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna briefly talk about like my research interest, and then talk about what the behavioral finance is, because I'm pretty sure many of you are not really familiar about that. Yeah, and then I'm gonna talk about, I'm gonna briefly mention what my teaching, like what I'm teaching at UNIST. So my research areas, it starts from the behavioral finance. So, and I apply it in both empirical asset pricing and in corporate events. So in other words, I am using the actual stock price and other data to examine investors' behavior, how investors' behaviors influence the market or their decisions. And corporate events would include something like IPOs or SEOs. And I'm also interested in doing analysis in forecasting using time series. So I'm starting to looking at the oil price forecasting using stock price data. And basically the methodology includes, it's from the econometrical methods. It can be cross-sectional analysis, time series analysis, or simple regression, or other stuff using panel data. So what is behavioral finance? Okay, so behavioral finance starts from the statement, the assumption that investors are not rational, but they are normal. So they have their own biases. And there's a disposition bias. One of the biases is disposition bias, where investors sell their winners, but hold on to their losers. And most common example is the gap investment in Korea. So if you buy a house, you buy it as an investment purpose. So once you buy your apartment, and then like a couple of years later, if you have gains compared to your initial amount that you invested in, you are willing to sell your apartment to get the earnings, to realize the earnings. However, once you have losses after a couple of years, you are actually reluctant to sell your apartment, but hold on to it, wishing that the price is going to go up later years. And that is actually an example of disposition bias. So if you're interested in research internship or doing research with me, you can feel free to email me or come see me or call me at any time. And lastly, what do I teach here? I teach I teach financial management and financial time series analysis in the undergraduate course. For graduate course, basically I teach time series analysis. So it's offered for both the ECTFE students and the graduate students, and also other professional graduate students. So then what is time series analysis? Because I thought it would be a good time for me to use this time to explain time series analysis, because many of the undergrad students feel that it's a very hard topic. So as you can refer from the name time series, it is you're just doing analysis. You're looking at the past price information. You're plotting the data over time, over the period of time, and you're doing regression analysis based on the time periods and the data that's time-wise. So for example, you want to make an investment, you want to make a profit. To do that, you first need to look at how the price has moved. So you're going to be looking at past information, but also you want to see whether you can forecast, you can predict the return, the price movement in the future using the past information. And that's basically what we are doing in this class. And you're going to be like learning more of that, like different methodology throughout this class. So yeah, that's it for my presentation. Thank you for listening, and feel free to contact me at any time if you have any questions.
Okay, thank you, Professor Han. Okay, next will be Professor Isaya in economics. 이사야 교수님 목소리가 안 들리는데요. 아직 목소리가 안 들리고 있습니다.
교수님, 줌에서 언뮤트 해주셔야 됩니다.
Can you hear me? Okay, great. Yeah, I was looking for the button. Thank you for joining us. Let me introduce myself and about my my lab and also my research topics. As you can see, from the slide, I'm an assistant professor of economics, and I'm doing research on the macro and monetary policy and international economics and applied time series. And usually I use the methodology of the data analytics and also computer simulation and the dynamic stochastic general equilibrium modeling. And I teach here for undergrad, I teach the microeconomics and econometrics, and I also teach econometrics for the grad student. And let me introduce the current ongoing research topics. And I have 4 of them. The first one is called monetary policy under data uncertainty. And I assume that the central banks make policy decisions based on the real-time data with noise. So they always have uncertainty in the data, and I study how the central banks learn about the uncertainty and how they make the decision optimally. And the second topic is about the economic forecast and optimization under data uncertainty using artificial intelligence. So we developed the methodology how firms and governments can improve their decisions under data uncertainty using the machine learning technology. And the third one then that I recently started is on the invoicing currency choices in international trade. So firms, when the firms are doing trade, they may use US dollar or Korean won or some like other currencies like Chinese yuan, but they make the optimal decisions, and I try to study how they choose the invoicing currencies using the trade data and also the transactional level data. And the first one that I'm doing recently is the economic effects of COVID-19 on Korean industries. So it's a short and a small project compared to the other three. And we studied the economic effect of the COVID-19 on different industries. So I try to look at each industry and how each industry can react to the COVID-19 most effectively. So these are the most current topics that I'm working on. And anyone interested in doing research internship or working as a research assistant or pursuing a graduate studies, please don't hesitate to contact me. And current member of our lab includes one postdoctoral fellow and also 2 other undergraduate interns. So I'm always open. So if you are interested in, please contact me anytime. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you, Professor Lee. So next is Professor Ju in accounting area. Please welcome Professor Ju.
Okay, let me. Okay. Okay, so I'm Jung-Hwan Ju. Currently, I'm the only accounting professor at UNIST. Today, I'm going to talk about the my current research area and future research avenues. I'll also talk about the key methodologies and skill sets necessary for accounting research. Okay. So the major themes of my current research in accounting include what's the role of accounting information in the capital market and how corporate governance and managerial incentive mechanisms influence managerial decision-making and behavior. I believe that those fundamental research areas will continue to be important and promising in the future. But in the future, the following areas could be also fruitful research avenues. It's interesting to examine the effects of accounting on innovation, corporate social responsibility, sustainability, and operating and investing in efficiency. Also, we need more research on cross-country differences in accounting standards, disclosure rules and regulations, and corporate culture, capital and labor, market specificity, and policy uncertainty. Okay. So methodology and skill sets. Accounting research relies primarily on archival studies. So we normally use the Wharton database as a source of data. So Wharton database collects accounting and financial data from public sources and provide information in usable format. Okay. Also, the Wharton database provides a research network and educational tools for the data processing and programming. So it's an essential tool. So we use economics-based accounting theories and finance theories and institutional knowledge of accounting and finance to identify interesting research questions and develop hypotheses. Then we're going to use the econometric techniques to test and identify causal effectual relationships, okay? So to be successful accounting researchers, we need to have a strong institutional knowledge of accounting and finance, effective writing skills for communication, especially for English writing skills, and the SAS programming skills for data processing and testing. So most of all, I think that the perseverance, persistence, and patience are needed, necessary, more than anything else, because the process to produce the research outputs in the accounting area is quite long. It takes lots of time to produce the top-notch research contributions in the accounting area, okay? Thank you so much for hearing my presentation. I'd like to pass the next turn, okay, to the, I don't know, yeah, it's Professor Lee.
It's me.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I try to stop share. Okay.
Okay, so next one will be Professor Lee in marketing area.
Yes. Can you hear me? Does everyone can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Lee Ki-yeon. So, yeah, I'd like to tell you about my personal story, how I become a professor. So I went to Yonsei University, and my time there's no, the three majors were in the same department. It is statistics, business, and economics. And yeah, so the business was the most popular major, but yeah, I really hate the group project in business classes. And also I didn't thought I learned a lot from business classes compared to statistics and economics. So somehow I wanted to be an expert in certain areas. So I kind of, yeah, after I finished my military service, I made up my mind to go to graduate school. And one of my high school friends, yeah, she told me that if I take a lot of mathematics and statistics courses during undergrad years, then I can apply for statistics, economics, and some applied area in businesses like finances. So I just took many mathematics and statistics courses, but I thought I didn't want to spend my time, my life, in proving something. So I was looking for something more interesting, and I found that in marketing, there is the quantitative marketing, and use a lot of statistics and mathematics for explaining some marketing phenomenon. So I applied for PhD program in marketing, and I became the quantitative modeler. So let me tell you what am I doing. So I'm quantitative modeler, so I'm trying to model something. Yeah, basically that can be the human behavior or the firm's behavior. And I'm empirical modeler. Basically, I'm using data. I'm not using theory like the game theory in economics. And my main interest is in choice modeling. So I'm trying to find out how people or firms make choices in different choice situations. So these are my current research topics that I'm working. So the first one is about people's donation behavior. So this is an example. So in many donation situations, there are the list of suggested amounts. So what I've done is based on people's donation history. So how much people donated before. So I'm trying to find out what would be the optimal amount to ask for each person. Okay, so that's one stream of my research. And I'm also working on online dating. So there are many decision rules people are using when they're looking for the future mate. So maybe if if you're a non-smoker, you may want to find non-smoker mate. And if you want to have a kids, then you may find women who are not too old. So there are different choice rules that people are using. And I found that people, yeah, there are a lot of difference across people. Yeah, according, yeah, from the dating from the online dating service providers. And the last one is about online entertainment, especially online gaming. And so what I'm looking for is, yeah, how can make you spend a lot of money on gaming, 현질, or if you've never never spend money on gaming, maybe there should be some way that make you to spend money. And also many people actually play game a lot, and they may spend a lot of money on game, and they'll stop playing at some point. So that's something that I'm also interested in. So those are something that those are some topics that I'm doing for the online entertainments. So to do this, there are some required skills. So basically, you need some knowledge in mathematics, statistics, like some economics and psychology. So these are something that you need to use when you build a mathematical or statistical model. So these are something actually you will learn if you go to graduate school. And also programming knowledge is also important. Yeah, in my area, so we use R or Python. And also, since it's kind of big data era, so we need to use how to use like database language like SQL. So these are something that we might need to, you might want to learn. And more importantly, so because we are trying to explain human behavior, choice behavior, or the firm's behavior, is kind of important to observe some interesting phenomenon in the world, and then you may be able to build the interesting research topics. And this is the most important. The enthusiasm for research is the most important. If you don't have enough background in maybe statistics or programming, then if you are really enthusiastic about your research, you may be able to learn pretty quickly to do something you really want to do. Okay, so that's kind of very brief introduction of my research and quantitative marketing. So please contact me if you are interested in quantitative marketing. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you, Professor Lee. Maybe this is too much information to many of you, but maybe this is an introduction. So if you're interested in some of these areas, maybe you can contact professors, or you can send email, or you can find more information on the website, I hope. Next one, Professor Kim in Information and System area. Professor Kim.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me? Okay. Hello, I'm Yolip Kim. I'm an assistant professor in Management Information Systems. And you can check out my profile at this website below. And you can find this link in the school's website, or you can simply Google it. All right. So I'm going to be talking in general about management information systems. Okay. So a master's and PhD degree in MIS is a bridge between the IT and the business community. Okay, so we're looking at the intersection of these two areas right there. Okay, and those who are involved in MIS are strategic in thinking about technology. Okay, and we are in high demand all over the world. Okay, so, and from a research perspective, we are interested in theories, okay, related to various IT phenomena. And here are some examples of what we are interested in. For instance, social media, mobile, ERPs, privacy and security, ethics and IT, and so on. Okay, and so a lot of these technologies, some of them are old, some are new, like Internet of Things and biometrics. So you have to be up to date with all these technologies. All right, and my area of interest is primarily in e-commerce. Nowadays, I do a little bit of privacy and security, and I also do a lot of research methods. And in terms of research methods, the thing I'm looking into are, I don't know if these are measurement models and how the fits are related to each other. And another recent topic that I'm focusing on is, this has happened through my consulting work. So I'm consulting with a company called Posco ICT, and we're looking at coronavirus and how it impacts your work style. And so, for instance, working from home or working from the office, or half of the employees are working at home, or volunteer working at home. How does that influence your IT use? So we look at the system logs, all the log data to make a comparison. Okay, so those are some topics that I'm doing. And we primarily use quantitative methods to examine theories. I would say almost all the researchers use quant methods. Okay, so we use technical, so we borrow methods from computer science. We also use methods from economics, and we also use behavioral methods as well. Okay, and to a lesser extent, a couple use qualitative methods as well. Okay, not a lot, but a few. All right. So qualitative methods, this means like conducting interviews, using observations, some of those techniques, right? And finally, here's what you'll be doing as a student. Okay, taking courses, of course, in stat, machine learning, economics, research methods, and various seminars. Okay, so in each class, there's papers you have to read, right? And there's going to be active discussions with regards to that paper. Okay, so you have to be engaged, right? So you'll be spending a lot of time reading papers. The other job as a student will be writing manuscripts. Okay, so you'll be submitting manuscripts to conferences as a poster, research in progress draft, or completed draft. Okay, and also you'll be writing manuscripts to target to various journals. So here are some journals in my field: MI's Quarterly, Information System Research, and Management Science. Okay, so that is the job. All right. And if you're interested in this field, please shoot me an email. Okay, or you can just come by my office if I'm there. All right. Okay, that's it. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you, Professor Kim. And another Professor Kim in marketing area, please. Kim Min-jung 교수님. There might be some connection problem.
And one issue is what does marketing do for our company? So that's the topic. Okay? So the marketing top executive says, oh, by using marketing, we can increase the market share, we can increase the marketing efficiency, we can increase the sales. At the same time, we can increase the marketing intangibles such as brand awareness, consumer satisfaction, customer engagement. Okay, and then the executives from the other functions, especially the finance function, they say, yeah, we can understand marketing can increase the sales, but oh, what about the intangibles? Consumer satisfaction, brand awareness. You guys say marketing activities can create marketing intangibles, but we don't know what kind of contribution those intangibles make for our financial performance. Okay, so basically the show me the money is the typical response from the finance folks. Okay, so this kind of tension between marketing and finance is surprisingly very popular. Okay, so there are lots of anecdotal evidence. The finance people cannot understand what marketing is doing, and marketing people, they cannot understand or analyze the financial accountability of the marketing activities. That's why my research is looking at the impacts of different marketing strategies on the financial performances. So I try to show that marketing actually creates a shareholder value, the financial performances. Okay. That's the main theme of my research topics. So this chart shows you the summary of my research topic. Okay, so different marketing strategies or marketing intangibles, and also the corporate social responsibility activities can increase the stock returns, at the same time can reduce the equity risk. By increasing the equity return and reducing the equity risk, then those kind of the marketing activities can increase the shareholders' value. So basically my research shows the financial accountability of marketing activities. If marketing scholars don't show the financial accountability of different marketing activities, then the value of marketing is just limited to the coupon designing, brochure making, just selling technique. So that's why in marketing, showing the impact of marketing activities on the financial value of the firm is such an important issue. So one of the research I have done in this area is one of my dissertation essays found that the company is spending on advertising and research and development, which is R&D, can reduce the systematic risk of the company. Okay? So nobody found this negative relationship between the marketing spending and the systematic risk of the company. And this is the first paper. And then this paper was published at Journal of Marketing in 2007. Okay. Yeah, I summarized my published work in the slides, but you can look at the list of the published work in my webpage. So I'm going to skip these slides. Yeah, I'm also interested in the corporate social responsibility, which is a very important topic for the nowadays companies. So nowadays companies are required to generate the profits, at the same time are required to contribute to the welfare of the society nowadays, right? So the companies, they make a lot of CSR activities, and my research examines in what situation the company's CSR activities will enhance the company's financial performances or reduce the financial risk. So in that area, I published several papers in the management journal and hospitality management journals as well. And also another research topic I'm doing is the role of marketing executives in the value of, in translating the marketing activities into the financial performances. Okay. So one of the papers looked at the equity incentive given to Chief Marketing Officer, which is CMO. And then I found that giving equity incentive to CMO can increase the firm value. And also I identified the several contingency variables in what situation this effect will be strengthened. Okay. And also another important strategic decision is the strategic emphasis. So some companies, they emphasize more on value capturing compared to value creation. Some other companies, they focus more on value creation compared to value capturing. Okay, that is about strategic emphasis. So I try to analyze what are the antecedents which make the company focus more on value creation versus value capturing. Okay? And interestingly, I found that companies' managements, their overconfidence, which is the hubris, managerial hubris, will increase the strategic emphasis towards the value creation compared to the value appropriation. Okay? So before this paper, nobody looked at the antecedents of the strategic emphasis, but this is the first paper. That's why I published the paper in one of the good top journals in marketing area. Okay. And currently, I'm working on some interesting topics. One of the papers is about mobile marketing, and the second one is one of my co-authors collected the data about the multinational companies' marketing strategies and also the subsidiary performance data. So I analyze the effect of the parent company's marketing strategies on the subsidiaries' performances. Since the time is limited, I cannot explain all the topics, but these are the main ongoing research papers. In my lab, I have one PhD student, Young-Choon Kim. He looks very smart. He's working very hard and smart. And I working on several projects with him. One of the projects was written up and submitted to Tourism Management, which is the top-ranked journal in the hospitality management area. The impact factor is 7.43, which is very high. So hopefully we will get through the review process and get it published. But anyway, I'm working with a PhD student actively on different projects. Right. So if you're interested in these marketing strategy topics, and also if you're interested in the CSR and executive psychology, their effect on strategic decisions, then just don't hesitate and approach me and ask any question about the research, and we can discuss about the research. And well, hopefully you are interested in my research topic and come to my office and discuss these topics. Right, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Professor Kim. We move on to Professor Hong.
Okay, Professor Kim Min-jung, can you stop sharing the screen?
Oh, yeah, yes. Okay, okay.
Okay, thank you. And Professor Kim Young-Choon, can you allow me to share my screen? The host disabled attendees screen sharing, that it says to me. Okay, thank you. Okay. Yeah. Hi, student. My name is Eun-gi Hong. And this is me, that my daughter drew it for me, and I'm using it on my profile picture. And my research is about team collaboration with sensor technology. And this is my past and current research topics. It says that helping behaviors in the team, or how they ask or seeking expertise and knowledges in teams, and who is more influential in teams. So most likely, I'm looking at the team dynamics and team communication patterns, mostly using surveys. So that's my past and current research topics. And now, this is my current and future research topics, which is, rather than having the survey questionnaires, I developed a sensor. With this sensor, we can capture the voice and motion. And with motions, we may be able to see how long they speak in team communications and how frequently they speak, or what is the turn-taking process. And with that, I'm trying to predict if team effectiveness using sensor algorithms, or predicting team member influence in team decision-making using human matrix sensor. And this is a human matrix sensor that I named it. And with this research topics, I have a few patents registered recently. So I may need wanted research, I would say not assistant research colleague. This sensor technology with predicting team communications is very new journey to re-examine the previous findings for better answers, or we can pose new research questions with these new technologies. So I want some students who are interested in the HR analytics, and we are not developing sensors, but utilizing those sensor technologies for research. So I want some students to have the pioneering mindset. This sensor research in organizational behavior, it's very new, and no research has been done in Korea. There are a few research groups in US, but there's none in Korea. So there's a lot of opportunities of this research. But at the same time, because this is new research, there are a lot of risks. We may fail, right? So there's a lot of opportunities and risk. If you are interested in those research, please contact me. My name is Eun Gi-hyung, and this is my email address. Okay, thank you, that's all.
Okay, thank you, Professor Hong. Yeah, using pen is very effective. So next, we move on to Professor Lu Jiang in organizational behavior area.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Lu Jiang. Like Professor Hong Eun-gi, who just spoke to you, I'm also a professor in organizational behavior and human resource management. So before I start, I want to give you a good news. I think I roughly represent the midpoint of our faculty research presentation today. So when you have me now, that means more than half of the faculty have done their presentations. So I hope you're still awake and focused. Okay, so let me get started. My research interest primarily centers on the dynamics of interpersonal relationships in the workplace and how they influence work-related outcomes, such as performance, attitudes, and behaviors. And within this research area, I have explored 3 interrelated research streams, including diversity and individual differences, leadership and power dynamics, and the psychology of entrepreneurship. So in what follows, I will briefly explain each of my main research streams. So first, my research on diversity and individual differences. In general, diversity is considered as a double-edged sword. So the key to wield this sword is to know what can be done to maximize its benefits while mitigating its negative impacts. So I have explored this theme in multiple projects conducted on different levels of analysis, ranging from individual level of analysis to organizational level of analysis. So if you're interested, you can just read my slide. And also expanding my interest in diversity and individual differences to other areas, I have conducted research in sexual harassment, person-organization fit, and work-life interface. Okay, My second research stream on leadership and power dynamics. Leadership mainly emphasizes the individual leader's influence on followers, and my research in leadership mainly focuses on leader-member exchange, which is about the quality of interpersonal relationship between a subordinate and his or her supervisor. On the other hand, power is more general. It considers upward, downward, and lateral influence that groups or individuals have over other groups and individuals. And my work in power mainly explore the influence of status leveling practices and the power dynamics within a team, as well as team members' influence over the team process. Okay. My third and more recently developed research stream is on psychology of entrepreneurship. So this stream of research takes a psychology perspective to understand the entrepreneurial action and the processes. For example, what stereotypes do people have about certain entrepreneurs and how that stereotypes influence their entrepreneurial process. For another example, the failure experience of entrepreneurs, how they cope with their past failures and turn their past failures into a future success. So those are some published and ongoing project. Moving forward, I also want to introduce some of my ongoing research and the future research plan. I'm always seeking opportunity to broaden my research focus and keep up with the changing workforce. So some newly developed research topics include employees' pro-social and ethical behaviors, virtual work ensuing the COVID-19, and artificial intelligence interview. Okay. So last but not least, I also want to share some information about what kind of students I'm looking for to join my lab. And when I listened to some other professors' presentation, I realized that some skill sets are very similar. So that means we are kind of competing for the same type of students. So these are what I'm looking for. I think the most important criteria is a genuine interest in people. You're curious about people's behavior. Why do they what they do? I think that's usually what gets me started, right? And delve into a specific area. You must have the passion. And also, the student should have some background knowledge in psychology and sociology because we borrowed a lot of knowledge from those disciplines. Also some background knowledge in math and statistics. I think there might be a misperception in some students that I have a fear about math and statistics. That's why I want to go to the people side. Unfortunately, you cannot get away from those if you go into OBHR. And of course, English writing skills, because you need to convey your ideas to the general audience. So I think that's pretty much everything I have for today. And if you are interested, feel free to contact me. And I'm always looking forward to working with ambitious, capable, and hardworking students. Okay, thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, we go to Professor Jang Hyun-jin in Financial Engineering.
Can you hear me? Okay, I'm Hyun-jin Jang, who is the associate professor of the School of Business Administration. As we have on time the limited talk, I'd like to tell you about the brief introduction of my research area and my lab is doing and my teaching courses. So I want to need my pen. Okay. So my research field that belongs to the financial engineering, which is usually classified to the subfield of finance, and usually requires to cover the several disciplines involving finance theory and applied mathematics and statistics, as well as computer science. So I studied and I earned the PhD in the KAIST on mathematics and specialized on the financial mathematics. And I also, before joining the UNIST, I've worked for the Samsung Securities as a quantitative analyst in the risk management team headquarters. So the research topics and interest covers the risk analysis and some of the predictions based on the quantitative methods, and under the domain of finance. And my research keywords have been done so far include the credit risk and the systemic risk. And also I'm interested in the finding the very new, the customer-driven exotic options in the practical markets. One of them is the contingent convertible bonds. And also I'm really interested in the developing the risk, the measures. And also I'm really interested in the modeling of dependence, using the coupler functions, and so on. Okay, so our lab is titled the Risk Analysis Lab. So our lab aims to develop a better solution in financial risk management for having optimal decision making by utilizing the sophisticated quantitative methodologies. So the methods of our interests are related to the way of enhancing the risk assessment performance of the existing models. So I've usually employed the parametric method, such as the stochastic, the process, and or the time series analysis. And then currently, I'm trying to explore and apply the cutting edge techniques, such as a deep neural network, the method, or the reinforcement learning, and as well as non-parametric data-driven method to for the better application of the original problem of interest. So this is a workflow usually taken in this study, and it can be summarized to the 3 steps. It contains the modeling and calibrating and analyzing. So first, the modeling step concerns how to build the model. The model can be on certain the stochastic or the mathematical models that enables us to quantify that the risk amount embedded in the market, the practical market properly. So we are trying to find out the risk assessment model that can detect certain unexpected event, such as a firm's default or some the flash crash event in the asset prices, because this may be causing a very severe losses or they're leading to an uncontrollable situation in the financial firm's business. So I mainly focus on the couple of models for the dependence modeling, or the jump diffusion, the models for the full-time modeling. And the next step is for the calibrating step. The mainly concerns to how to extract the risk amount from the empirical data based on the developed model in the first step. So which step is usually called the model calibration. So for the model calibration to be the more effectively and then accurately done, we need to handle the data properly, and then need to choose an appropriate computational method that can minimize the estimation error. And then lastly, the analyzing step considers the conducting the certain analysis for sensitivity test and the forecasting work using statistical techniques to obtain the financial or the economic implications. So we can do a variety of simulations based on the developed and estimated model in the previous steps. So that may enable us to find the implications and the finance insights for having the better decision making in the financial risk management. So so this is so you may understand the brief the flow for having the study in our lab. And we have our lab has 3 student members, the Park Soo-min and the Xiao Pan and the Kman-shak, the Kenjis. So all are the very great student, and all of you also highly welcome to see and explore and participate to know about our work is going. And also I have experience to in charging of the research projects. As the first one had just recently completed. The subject was in the data-driven risk assessment system for quantifying and forecasting the financial risk. And now the ongoing project is under the title of the optimal execution strategies for high-frequency trading and the systemic risk management. So through this project, I'm trying to find the better method using the deep neural net, the learning method. So and also I'm teaching 2 courses. The quantitative finance I just offered in the spring semester, and the other one is risk management. The risk management has been offered in the graduate level and the undergraduate level. So yes, you can see what can you learn through the two courses. So if you have the question about my research or my lab or my teaching, you may visit the homepage, so you can see the detail, the result of the research and the information of my courses. So that's all. Thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you, Professor Jang. Next, Professor Seo in also financial engineering.
Is my voice clear? Professor Chang, please turn off your screen.
Okay.
Yeah, I can do that. Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Byung-gi Seo, who is professor in business administration in UNIST. I'm going to introduce to my lab, which is studying on financial engineering. For me, first of all, I want to introduce to myself. And I joined School of Business Administration UNIST from 2012. It is already 9 years. Yeah. And before that, I have some field experience as a quant trader before joining UNIST in the Korean bank. And I got a PhD in mathematics in KAIST. However, don't worry about it. I don't use a lot of mathematics nowadays. And yeah, I'm also the founding member of Energy Commodity Trading and Financial Engineering, briefly ECTFE program, and Center for International Energy Trading. And I'm also the founding member of UNIST Blockchain Research Center and Explainable AI Center. And at the moment, I'm in the service as a director of Korea Derivatives Association, Korean Finance Association, Korean AI Association. And in this page, I emphasize with red color, which is important for me, and it explained me very well. 2012, I studied as a professor and quant trader and math, financial engineering, energy trading, blockchain, explainable AI, derivatives, finance, AI will be my keywords. And to explain my research interest, first of all, I'm studying on analyzing ultra-high frequency financial data. As you see, at the moment, as you know, in the time span, you are going to start a lot of finance guys studied on how volatile the stock movement are. But I wanted to change make the special span and how long it will it take to arrive some certain the return. I wanted to change the framework from the classical diffusion model to my new framework. That is my first the subject, and I have 2 papers published on this area. And the second, my research interest on the volatility modeling and trading. And this picture is just I draw these pictures to explain my research. And that is, I think that almost all of you doesn't understand what it means, but there is a lot of models here, but we can make it as a Johnson's distribution and NSVH model and Tabor model. But I made some general model which is include all these frameworks in this paper. So these 2 paper it is already published on this research area. And my third research interest nowadays, I started to study on forecasting market movement using classical methods and the machine learning method. Actually, the paper, the forecast about the movement on the energy price during the FOMC announcement period, and I published it. And nowadays, I use the machine learning techniques to forecast the crashes in the market. This is my partial results. As you know, this purple color is my forecasting signal, and this deep black color is a realized the crash. As you see, this forecast looks going well, and I try to make this publication as at the moment. This is working paper, and I have some funding money at the moment, but yeah, I try to gather more funding again. And briefly, I'm saying the first things I did some work with the exchange, Korea Exchange, and I do this work, and I published some paper with this working. And at the moment, in central counterparty CCP in KRX are using my model officially, and you can read my name in the official rule book in the CCP, the margin, the model. And this is a newspaper. Yeah, this is me. Yeah. So we have funded by been funded by the MOTI, I mean Ministry of Trading and Energy something. However, yeah, on this area, and there is around the 3 billion Korean won. And I'm on the team with explainable AI with some professor in the computer science, and it is also a very big fund. And at the moment, I can add some stipend for students, but I don't know whether I can continue do that or not. Yeah, at the moment, I have 3 members in my lab, and in my lab, all of them is combined master PhD students. And he is just he spent the final semester at the moment, and he already has 1 published and 1 accepted paper and 2 working paper going on. And I think that he got a good job. I expect to get a great job, and it will be a good news on this end of this year. And this is 4th semester, the Jaemin Jung, and he is his characteristic is he understands almost all things very fast, and so that's why I expect to produce a lot of good results during his PhD courses. And she is very newcomers, and this semester is her 2nd semester, and she has a lot of information and creative ideas. So I expect to perform very strong results within his or her PhD courses. Okay, this is my presentation, and that's it. And thank you very much for your participating into this introductory session. And this is my email address. If you have any question, then do not hesitate to email me. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Oh, those are very good students. Let's move on to Professor Chung in economics area.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me, and thank you for joining this great session. And my name is Kun-Sok Chung, and you see my contact information here. I work on macroeconomic topics, and I set my title Investment in Macroeconomics. And here are the 3 topics that my research is concentrated on. First, international capital flows, volatility and economic growth. And second, housing markets, bubbles and real business cycles. And third, human capital accumulation. So the topics may look diverse, but we can put them in one category, investment. So the first topic is about physical capital investment, and the second topic is about residential investment, and the third topic is about human capital investment. And I'm interested in these topics because I consider them as the most significant issues in Korea's economy. So first, we have a small territory and not much natural resources. So our economy is relying heavily on international trade. And when there's international trade, then the funds also move around. Also, the country's economic growth has been relying heavily on foreign capital inflows, such as foreign aid, foreign debt, now foreign portfolio investment and foreign direct investment. And also the country's housing prices is one of the highest in the world. So for a typical person starting a new job, it'll take a few decades at least to own a house if they are living in a metropolitan area. And also the schools, high school system, middle school system is extremely competitive. So I got interested in these topics. And although these topics are especially pronounced in South Korea, but also all these issues can arise in every person's life at all stages of economic development. So I think they can be interesting to many people. So the first topic, having an access to international capital market has good sides and bad sides. One good side is acquiring capital. The cost of capital accumulation is relatively low if they open up their capital market. But then on the side, as a side effect, we are importing external uncertainty. So, and also the types of foreign capital is also very diverse. There are short-term debt, short portfolio investment as short-term capital flows, long-term debt, foreign direct investment as long-term capital flows. And I'm interested in seeing what kind of roles they play in the host country's economic growth and welfare. And I want to see, after analyzing those roles of different types of capital, we can maybe think about what is the economic policy to maximize the possible gain and minimize the possible negative side effects. The second topic, housing market, it has two directions. One is the house prices behavior in the context of asset pricing model, and see if we observe any bubbly behavior of housing prices. We have seen consistent increase in housing prices in the past decades, and we can check whether it has some bubbly behavior or it's a normal course of asset value appreciation over time. And another direction is to see if housing prices can drive a real business cycle. The ups and downs in some macroeconomic variables, such as real interest rate and income growth, things like that. And the third topic, human capital accumulation, is the technology change has been more and more skill-based. And so as a consequence, the machines has been replacing human labor, and there are fewer jobs. Eventually, we will create more jobs adapted to new technology, but we haven't done it yet. So with fewer jobs, wage gap between skilled and unskilled workers has been widening. And then investment in human capital can be an important vehicle for social mobility. So the middle school, high school education system has been becoming more and more competitive. And we are spending a lot of resources on what's so-called shadow education, the private tutoring, going to Hagwon, any education privately financed outside the ordinary school system. So on one side, it has a positive effect because it will help students to perform better in schools. But then because the nature is private, you have to buy the service. And then it could possibly widen the income inequality or wealth inequality. And if this tendency goes on for too long, then it can be too costly for the society. So one topic I looked at in the past is whether this type of investment in human capital is efficient and is it justifiable. And now I'm interested in if it is not efficient, then how big the social cost with shadow education can be. And also I'm thinking to put this into a more general equilibrium model and see if there is a huge burden of housing cost and education cost, then what kind of consequences can it bring about to the economy? So one thing we can consider is low birth rate and demographic shift, and it can eventually shrink the domestic market, and probably it will generate some negative effects on the economy. So these are the main topics that I'm interested in. And if you are interested in any of these topics, then you can just contact me anytime and ask questions. So that's pretty much of what I prepared. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Now we move on to Professor Wu in Information Systems. Professor Wu is there? Okay, probably I'll go first, and then when Professor Wu comes back, maybe he can present. Professor Wu? Okay. All right. I thought I'm the last one, but maybe I'm not. I'm presenting it then. Okay, you can share my screen. My name is Young-Choon Kim. So if you go to the website of the SBA, this is me, and then you can visit my homepage, or you can Google on the internet, and you can find information about me, my research and teaching. So my lab, I named it as Organization and Innovation Management. So this is me. I am an associate professor, and I have PhD at Stanford University in organizational sociology. And my research is I'm interested in technological innovation. So I'm studying structure and process of technological innovation, and as well as interfirm collaboration in emerging industries. And also I'm interested in social networks of entrepreneurs, and also the human side of strategic management of the human capital. Those are the research contents that I'm interested in. And my method is quantitative, so it's mainly based on data analysis. I'm using patent data or venture capital data or other corporate data. And also sometimes I can rely on case studies. Right now, I'm in a research year, so I don't teach this semester and next semester. But when I come back next year, I'll be teaching Managing Innovation and Change for undergraduate course. And I also teach professional courses and also doctoral courses. So anyone interested in doing internship or working as a research assistant, you're welcome to contact me or visit. Or if you want to pursue graduate studies in my research areas, you can consult with me. So currently, I have one PhD student. He entered into the master and PhD combined students. And I have 3 PhD students in professional program. And this one, I just give you some showcase of my research result with the students. So this graph shows there is relationship between performance and R&D activities in Korean firms. But what we showed in this project is there is a difference. This effect is different by the manager's characteristics. Also, I have early project on the companies about self-driving technology, self-driving car technology, and this graph shows how the recently emerging self-driving car companies are similar in their technological positions by analyzing patent data. So you can see some familiar names like Uber or Waymo or Didi or Tesla is here. So here, those companies are developing similar technologies. And there is another group of companies like Mobileye or Cruise are more focusing on driving assistance areas. So this is the early stage of the projects. And another project I'm working with the students is analyzing university technology commercialization. And this graph shows there's a relationship between commercialization speed and the performance of the technology, but it also depends on whether the researcher is academically oriented or industry oriented. So those are the kind of the showcase of my research topics. And in below, I have some interviews which present about myself, and some says about what I think, what would be what you can do as an undergraduate student. So maybe if you have time and interest, you can go over my website. Okay, so that's about me. And you know, if you are interested in research internship or research assistance, you're welcome to contact me. I have some work for you. Okay, all right. So that's about me. And let's see whether Professor Wu is here.
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, so now let's turn to Professor Wu.
Okay, I guess I'm the last one here. My name is Young-Choon Woo. I got my PhD in the area of management information systems, and I joined UNIST around the time 2010, so it has been like more than 10 years. So many of you are not familiar with my faith because I've been teaching only elective courses at the undergraduate program, typically technical courses like the database, the programming languages, and the data science, and so on. So that leads to my research interest as well. So my research interests can be summarized into two. Basically data science and decision making, especially in the technology management. So Professor Kim Yeol-ip provided nice introduction to the field of the management information system. He talks about the intersection between information technology and the business community. My interest can be further narrowed down with the technology, especially machine learning, data science, data mining, artificial intelligence, whatever you call it, and decision making, especially in the technology management context. So we try to fill the gaps between these two components, analytics and the decision making. So the first thing we are like to do is using novel machine learning techniques to improve decision making in the management context. For example, technology forecasting or technology strategy and so on. And then also recently, I developed some interest in applying machine learning technology in some heavy industries like IT manufacturing, semiconductor industries, energy and shipbuilding, oil refinery, and so on. The other direction is using a traditional management research, especially based on the empirical findings, theoretical development, and so on, to the area of improving decision making, improving the analytical power, the performance of machine learning, and so on. For that, we try to understand the behavior and the strategic changes when people or companies are facing artificial intelligence technology. Recently, one of my recent research project is a co-evolution of the business here and the machines, especially how AI technologies affect humans in their workplace, organizations, and industries. And then on the other hand, and how users are and the companies adopt AI technologies. These projects are funded by National Research Foundations. It's an ongoing project. I supervise 6 master students. They are all graduated now. And then currently I have 2 combined master PhD students and then 2 PhD students. And then also 2 more in the professional graduate programs. So if you are interested in the area like machine learning and applying machine learning in a decision-making context, or the influence of AI technologies in human behavior or company strategy, and then probably that might be our good fit. between you and me. So if you're interested, feel free to contact me anytime. And that's it, I guess. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you, Professor Wu. Finally, we finished all the presentations by professors. I think it's a little bit exhausted, but nonetheless, if you have any question about any research area for each professor, or the graduate school in general, or anything, you can just leave your message on the chatting window, or there is the hands up function in the Zoom. If you go to the participant list, there is a hands up function, so you can raise your hand, then I can give you we are willing to listen to your voice. So anything, please, it's your time. And also, I was a little bit surprised to have many students in this session. I think it's good to share the faculty members' activities with students. And also, I think it was good for us to know each other among faculty members. So I think it was a good session, even though it was long and a little bit exhausted. So please ask any questions. Our dean can answer, or any professor maybe can answer. Thank you. So I have about 30-second rules. So I'll wait for 30 seconds. So take your time. Okay, here is one hands. Yeah. Would you introduce? Yeah, please.
First of all, I wanted to thank all of the professors for this presentation. It was really useful. My name is Camila, and I have one question. I know that in the US, they have like 2 separate grad schools for research and for like deeper studying of your field, right? So I was wondering whether the research graduate school in UNIST would be useful if I want to work in an industry and I don't want to continue like academic path, you know?
Okay, Camilla, thank you for your questions. Maybe it's an important question for you. Any professor give advice on Camilla's question? Again, I have 30-second rules.
I'll go ahead and so the general the graduate program is research oriented. Okay, and if you're thinking about going into the industry, there's professional programs at UNIST as well as other schools that focus on a more narrow field. Okay, so for instance, in MIS, there's a master's program for the business analytics, where you take more stat courses, machine learning courses, okay, and you can find a job related to that field. All right, so whatever your research you're interested in, there's a program for that somewhere. It can be UNIST or it can be someplace else. Okay. Did I answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Maybe if I add a little bit more, I think academia is not a bad option. So don't completely exclude academic option for your career. Maybe I think it depends on the areas. Maybe some areas are more directly related to industry, like maybe business analytics or maybe IT industry related ones. So I think generally you have master's degree in our SBA graduate program and get a job in industry. We have some record of career path for the master students. We don't have many samples for PhD student yet because we are very young. But these master students get a job in research institutes and some private research institutes or private companies. So maybe that's possible. But again, it depends on the research area, I guess.
Let me add just one more thing. In our graduate program, for the professionals, we have two options. One is a business analytics program in Graduate School of Interdisciplinary Management, and the other is a master's program in Graduate School of Technology and Innovation Management. So in Korean 융합경영대학원 Business Analytics Program, 기술경영전문대학원 Master's Program, those programs are accepting full-time applicants, but probably this is not the best option, I believe. That's not best option for international students because the majority of the student population in those professional educations are working Korean nationality students. So probably you might find some difficulties in adjusting yourself in those programs, curriculums, and the environment as well. So for international students, I would recommend a research programs, research masters or PhD programs in our SBA.
Okay, any other faculty member to add on this question? Otherwise, we'll move on to the next questions. Okay, feel free to add. So we're waiting for next questions. Anybody? Hands up or leave a message on the chatting. I think we want to finish this session by 4, so we have about 5 minutes. I think that's a good news. So any last questions? Please. Okay, so I have a chatting message about whether recorded the video will be shown. I think I recorded this session, but maybe I will consult with professors and whether they are okay, they are comfortable in releasing it. And if I think there is no problem, then I will probably release through some on the website, maybe through YouTube or on our website. So we'll inform you. Thank you. Okay, my 30 seconds up. So let's finish this session. Thank you for participating in this session. And then, you know, this is the starting point. So maybe we want to strengthen the linkage between students and faculty members. So feel free to visit their website or looking for the information and then, you know, knock the door on the faculty's office. Dean Che, do you have any last words?
Okay. Yeah, it's 2 hours. You must be very tired. I think so, but this was a great opportunity, right? And also to share each faculty members' research topics and areas, and also invite our students to attend and hear what we are doing. So it was a great moment, to see this interesting event in this online space. So I think so we can do some more, plan more event like this in the future as well. Yeah, and also I expect, I hope many students apply for graduate admission for this coming term as well. Okay. I think so that's it for today's meeting. Yeah, everybody, thank you for attending this event. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Have a good weekend. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.